Hi everyone, I'm Ian Riñon, an independent alternative media practitioner among other things, and it's one surprise after another because uh, the Pope announcing that he's going to consecrate Russia is one surprise enough, but suddenly the Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines is intending to join the Pope in consecrating Russia. Kasi um, there are speculations saying that uh, uh, in order for uh, in order to satisfy our the Blessed Virgin Mary's request to consecrate Russia, for there are three uh, uh, let's say there are three uh, requirements. First, the Pope must consecrate Russia by name. Now, this is a little bit complicated because there are two schools of thought on that. Because um, some are saying uh, Russia should only be consecrated and not Ukraine. But then again, historically, uh, Ukraine was part of the Russian Empire when it was first consecrated, uh, according to Our Lady of Fatima's request. Number two, it should be eh, the laity should also continue this consecration for the on the on the five first Saturdays. So uh, basically, I'm not sure how this goes, but people are supposed to pray and do penances for five first Saturdays. So that's in a span of 5 months. Now I am not sure if it should have been done before the consecration to Russia, or maybe during, or even after the consecration of Russia. Is very much uh, in the speculation of many. And finally, as I mentioned earlier, uh, the bishops of the whole world must join the Pope in consecrating Russia. So, aside from the Philippine Church, uh, some Latin American bishops and bishops' conferences have made their intentions known to join the Holy Father in uh, consecrating Russia and Ukraine. And it's a really good surprise for me because alam niyo yun, I've never been this excited or this expectant at this point. But of course, I have to take care of my own spiritual health as well, because I'm just a human being, that's for sure. And then there are also people who are saying it's illicit because they don't recognize Pope Francis as the Pope, and that's already in the realm of speculation, because at this point we can only just speculate. That's it. Now, uh, by this recording, I was surprised to know that a good priest contact of mine and and another veteran Catholic uh, columnist or comentarista have shared that the CBCP is intending to join the Pope in consecrating Russia. And just a few hours ago, the CBCP provided a circular or a memo regarding this intention. So let me read it to you in full, but I'll provide the link in the description below, and maybe I can also have this as my thumbnail. Let's see about that. So the the letter goes: I'm just going to read some of the parts here. The letter goes, "Dear brothers and sisters, it has been more than 4 weeks now since Russia declared a war of occupation against Ukraine. We have seen in the daily news reports how the Russian military forces have bombarded one Ukrainian city after another, destroying private residences, business establishments, and public infrastructures, killing hundreds of civilians and forcing millions of people to flee as refugees in other European countries. Each day that this war lingers on increases its potentials of escalating into a bigger and more serious conflict between Russia and its allies on one hand, and the United States and its NATO allies in Europe, that's the North Atlantic Treaty Organization for those who don't know, and other nations of the world on the other. It can lead to the fearful scenario of a third world war. Because it has been 77 years since our last experience of a world war, we have tended to take global peace for granted. The past 3/4 of a century of peace have brought prosperity to the world precisely because the military defense budgets of nations have radically decreased. The average in Europe has gone down to only 3% of the national budgets and made it possible for governments to appropriate more substantial funds to the more fundamental necessities of their citizens. Suddenly, this war in Ukraine is making nations worried again for their security. Germany has already doubled its military budget, and most other European countries are following the trend. We therefore need to pray very hard for peace. In our own context in the Asia-Pacific region, we can only hope that Russia's sudden shift to an expansionistic geopolitical policy does not motivate any of its allies from doing the same thing on their neighboring countries. Even if Europe is relatively far from the Philippines, we have every reason to be apprehensive about these global developments. We are conscious of the fact that in just the past few years, the peace and security of some of our own national territories have been among our major domestic concerns, especially the West Philippine Sea, where an ally of Russia has already set up its own military installations. Despite all our protestations, this is now turning out to be the more important global context that should determine the way we will choose a new set of leaders for our country in the coming elections. This too, we must pray very hard for. In view of this, we, your bishops, this is the Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines, after all, have decided to join the Holy Father, Pope Francis, in consecrating Russia and Ukraine to the Immaculate Heart of Mary on the 25th of March 2022, which is a Friday, the Solemnity of the Annunciation. The Holy Father has made this decision in response to a letter earlier sent to him by the Ukrainian Catholic bishops on the 2nd of March this year. In that letter they said, and I quote, "In these hours of immeasurable pain and terrible ordeal for our people, we, the bishops of the Episcopal Conference of Ukraine, are spokesmen for the unceasing and heartfelt prayer supported by our priests and consecrated persons, which comes up to us from all Christian people to dedicate Your Holiness, our motherland, and Russia." Responding to this prayer, they wrote, "We humbly ask Your Holiness to publicly perform the act of consecration of Ukraine and Russia to the Immaculate Heart of Mary, as requested by the Blessed Virgin in Fatima. May the Mother of God, the Queen of Peace, accept our prayer. Regina Pacis, ora pro nobis." We will send you a copy of the act of consecration in the coming days. We also leave it to the discretion of individual bishops to include acts of reparation and prayers for peace in Asia, especially in our country, the Philippines. Lastly, as an act of solidarity with the suffering people of Ukraine, the Permanent Council of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines decided that a special second collection will be held in all churches this coming Sunday, the 20th of March, the third Sunday of Lent. Kindly remit the collections to the CBCP Secretariat on or before the 25th of March. Let us fervently offer our prayers and sacrifices for the violence to stop and for the voice of people to be heard. Mary, Queen of Peace, pray for us and for the whole world. For the Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines, signed the Most Reverend Pablo Virgilio David, Bishop of Caloocan, and President of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines. So, I just actually read the whole thing, and I think it's about time. It's about time that the Philippine Church join the Holy Father in consecrating Russia. Let's leave all the speculations behind. Let's leave all of the bickering regarding the Fatima theory and the third secret and all that stuff. And I really don't want to cuss here, dahil I just have to go to confession as well. But let's try not to doubt this. Well, of course, we still are speculative on what formula would the Pope basically say in the consecration. A lot of people are holding their breaths for that, and even I'm a little bit speculative on how this would come out. Now, before I end this video, there are actually two schools of thought regarding the consecration of Russia, because the last time it was done was during 1984. I'm not sure if it was 84, but it's around the 80s. Basically, it is the pontificate of Pope John Paul II. In it a lot of people have been speculating that his formula of consecration to the world in general, and not Russia in specific, was not enough. That's one school of thought. There's another school of thought that says that consecration made by John Paul II was sufficient enough, but it's not bad to reconsecrate Russia to the Immaculate Heart. And right now, it was a good call for Pope Francis to consecrate Russia in specific. And because Ukraine is also asking to have their country consecrated as well, by all means. So, as I said in my previous video, it is not the time for us to be scrupulous and to tell people and to tell the Pope, this is the follow the formula of Our Lady, follow the formula of Our Lady. That would be a good idea, but then again, let's prepare for this consecration, because this is basically going to be a game changer. I can feel it. It's going to be a game changer. So I think I have said enough in my piece. So I'm going to end this commentary here. So with all that said, this is Intrepidi and Riñon reminding you to, at all times, now more than ever, be the salt of the earth and the light of the world. Until then, look alive, stay alive, pray, go to confession, and please let us join the Pope. If your bishops have not yet intended to, if your bishops have not yet made the decision to join the Pope in consecrating Russia to the Immaculate Heart, please tell them to do so. Because it's not bad to for them to join. Actually, it's actually a good thing. Hopefully, all of the bishops of the world would join the Pope in consecrating Russia and Ukraine. And as always, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Ian out.